Hey everybody, Steven here, and today I have the V1 Tech custom GPU plate that I'm going to showcase and install. And I actually did a video a little bit ago and I did this custom wall print that's right here. And in that video I said, hey, I may wait till later this next year to actually get the GPU plate and then potentially another wall art piece for over here. And they still have their deal going on. So if you want to get 60% off all of their products, 50 to 60%, you can go to their website right now. Now this is a custom piece, so this piece of artwork right here was actually something that the artist Zach Raw did for me for the channel. He's done a couple different pieces, and he's actually the artist that I use for all the children's books that I make. Anyways, did the same piece here. I was looking through because they have a ton of different designs and I just couldn't find anything that fit. So I went with this custom one here that's gonna go on my 3080, which is right here. And so I'm gonna showcase a little bit of me actually installing this. I hope it looks really, really good, but let's get this thing unboxed here. So $150 is what the normal price is. Right now it's on sale for $70. And then I ended up getting it's the adapter with the remote for an extra $20 so that I didn't actually have to control this with software, because usually that's how you do it. You have to use software, and I have a bunch of different software because of the products that are in here to control the lighting, and it's just a pain. And MSI Mystic Lighting, one that I do not like that app, is how some of this runs. I've deleted it off my computer a couple times. It still persists. I actually still have to contact MSI because it causes issues with games and it causes issues with my other lighting. So I just decided to work around that. But this is the piece right here. Right there. There it is, get some good lighting on it. So I think that looks really, really good. On the back here is where you're gonna find the lighting. This is this strip. I don't know that we take this off. I do have to look that up. And then we have our RGB 3-pin right there. And so inside of the box, it's that. They gave me Starburst with this. And then it's a thank you note, a sticker, and then this is the remote that I got with this. So this is the instruction guide, and then on the website it actually tells you on the listing of the GPU, whatever product it is, it usually tells you how to install it. For this, the GPU plate is going to tell you how to install it there as well. But it looks like we have a printout for it also. And so, yep, you know, as high tech as the company seems too, this seems like they just printed this off of like a regular home printer. But it tells you with this, I mean, this is the actual remote that I got right here. One of the big things is, do you need the bumpers with it? They sell GPU brackets as well if you need to do that. Without pre-installed backplate, with pre-installed backplate. So you have magnet and adhesive reference points with this. And so here's gonna be our 3M tape. Here's our remote. And then here is actually the magnets, and I'll probably just do the magnets with this. Assuming, okay, how many do we have here? 2, 4, 6. I'm assuming I actually use these to stick it to this and then use that to put it on there. One of the things that I noticed, oh, and then here's our other, so this is going to be our 3-pin RGB to our power connector right here, SATA connector. And then we have another adapter if we need it. So this should just plug right in. And then basic remote, nothing too fancy with this. But one of the things I did notice when I made this, so on the website, this cutout for your power, it doesn't actually show that. It gives you a reference point where, hey, that may be there. But what they really show is a cutout over here if you were going to run your GPU and SLI, which most GPUs now, they don't even do that. So it threw me off. I do wish I could have moved this over just a little bit, because this seems like it's crammed right to the edge. So if I could have just moved that over just a hair maybe. But other than that, this is actually dead center. So maybe just leave it there, make the wording smaller. But let's go ahead and cut over now. I need to actually get this installed, and I'm just going to showcase footage of me doing this now and then talking about the process, and then really just let you guys see what this looks like when it's finally installed. Again, price tag with this, $150 normally. That to me seems pretty expensive. If you get it on sale, custom is going to be $70. This was $20 just to get this, which I thought it was worth it for me. So that bumped it up to, I think, $89. And then I actually could use another discount code. So I got $13.50 off of it, and then it shipped for free. So, or no, it didn't ship for free, sorry. It was like $6-7 to ship because I just did standard shipping. So I think the total overall ended up being $83 for this. If you don't do this and you just do one of their other pieces, it's normally $120, and I think it's 60. It's $59.99, and this is $69.99. So normally I think right now 70 for this with the discount. The other ones are going to be 60. So depends on what you want to do. But let's go ahead and cut ahead now. Let me showcase me installing this and then what it actually looks like. And one final note with this, this is the custom piece right here that Zach did. This is Zelda for the font, and then the background. When you do a custom piece, they actually let you choose from a bunch of different backgrounds: space, abstract, I don't know, they have like 7 or 8 different categories, and then they have images within that to put on this. And I thought this one would look really, really good on this, and then my son agreed. So let's go ahead and cut ahead now. Let's get this thing installed and show what it looks like. All right, so I have this thing all set up now, and I actually messed up installation because I didn't check to see if these magnets would actually work with my GPU backplate that it has, and it doesn't. So should have paid attention to that, should have just checked before, and it kind of looks like from the picture, I'm assuming for most GPUs, the magnets actually don't work with the backplate there just because of the material. So with this, I ended up putting on the adhesive to all the magnets and then putting that around. And the reason I wanted to do it this way is, one, just an easy, quick, like uninstall process where I could just kind of pop it right off. And 2, I was worried about clearance with everything. So this, and I'll actually have video pop up right now with it, it has a little bit of a bump with it where the actual RGB light strip is on the GPU. So I knew if I put it directly on it, it would just kind of have to follow that bow, and I was worried with that it may try to bump it off. I haven't had any issues with this, but it's just something that I initially thought was going to be an issue, and luckily it hasn't been. But with this, I ended up trying it and then realized, oh man, this doesn't work. So I had to actually strip off the magnets from the adhesive sticky tape, which they were already installed on it, so it was kind of easy to do. I just peeled the magnet off really, really quick, and then put it right on top, made sure to line it up really good, and then just simply put it on top of the GPU. And then after that, I've been good to go. And with this, the lighting is really, really cool. The big thing here, though, that I've noticed, one is with how thick this is in terms of my GPU and this, when I installed it, when you actually have that kind of release for your GPU from the motherboard, I can't reach that now. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to almost like move a lot of stuff out of the way to see if I can get back around it to do that, because part of this is the thermal plate for my M.2 drive is bumped out, so it covers that area. So this made it an extremely tight fit for my case. So something to actually be mindful of too if you have one of these bigger cards. I have no idea how this would look on a 3090, by the way. I mean, some of those cards, they're like triple stacked, right? But this was easy to install after that. Popped it in, screwed it, made sure that the PCIe cables were connected with this, and then simply plugged in the adapter into the SATA adapter. So I have the, I mentioned this earlier, the remote with the SATA adapter so that I can run it through that instead of running it through the RGB headers on the motherboard. And so I can just use the remote, which I do like that over the software personally, but it is an extra cost. So once I connected that, literally hit the power button. After I booted up the PC, I hit the power button on the remote and then was good to go. And so what I'm gonna do now is actually cycle through and showcase what the different lighting effects the remote can do. They don't list it on the website. I really wish they would. I can't tell you every single thing. I've tried to take notes and see what it is, but it looks like we have like a rainbow kind of color cycle with this, and then you have breathing, you have like almost like a quick color cycle, or it's almost like it's shooting it down, so it's like illumination, so almost like a trail or a worm, where it's going to shoot that light down the actual bracket itself. And then they have one where it'll stack that effect also. They have it where it will do it with other colors. With this as well, you can just choose a color, but with the remote, you are somewhat limited. So I would be curious to see what the software could do, but I think it's a little bit risky because I don't like I said, using the Mystic lighting that my PC wants to run. And I have other software. It just creates all these issues for me that I'm still trying to figure out. But you have red, green, and blue and white on the remote. Again, if they
updated the remote or they had a listing on it, I think you could get even more effects out of this, which would be awesome. Or maybe an app, I don't know. I'm assuming that would be something that not a lot of people would actually use, so it's probably one of those cost-effective things on V1 Tech's part where it's just not worth it to them. But yeah, a ton of different effects you can cycle through, and as you're using the remote, when you're doing auto, it'll actually just start cycling through all the different effects that it has, and then you have mode, plus, and negative, so you can essentially cycle towards one side and then towards the other. I have noticed is as you hit auto, it depends on what it's cycling on, that when you press mode, it'll start to cycle through that. So it creates more things that you have to do in order to get the lighting effect, where again, I'm assuming if you just plugged this into your PC, it probably is easier to get to depending on your software. So they had different options on the website too. You don't have to use the remote. In terms of the software that it's compatible with, they have a big list, but you can also plug this into like the iQ from Corsair, where it like plugs into an actual adapter and you can run it through there. So there's plenty of options when it comes to this lighting, which is really, really awesome to see, especially considering the price of the product at its normal price. With this though, I think on the discount, this is totally worth it. The 150, I think for a lot of people, I mean, if it's your hobby, like, and you're an enthusiast like I am, yeah, it may be worth it. But again, if you can catch it on sale, it's going to be even better. But if it's something that you like your PC, I mean, but you're not a massive gamer, $150, that is a lot of money for a piece of plexiglass with some lighting and an image on it. They have plenty of options on the website from things that you can choose, but it's almost like overload with that as well, where there's just too many options almost with this. So I did showcase as well, you can adjust the speed with the remote, which is awesome to see as well. You can make this slow or extremely fast. I don't know why you'd make it extremely fast. It's almost too much, but you do have the option with that. So that's actually going to be it for this video. I think at the discount, this is, if you are an enthusiast, this is an easy thing to recommend at its normal price. I mean, one, you have to be able to afford it, obviously, but it's one of those things, it's not increasing performance with your computer. It's literally just the aesthetics of it. And with this, it's one of those instances where how many people look at your PC, right, to come over? It's one of those things like you're glancing over and looking at it and it looks really, really cool to you, but it may not be something that everybody's looking at all the time. So you have to weigh that also with this. But obviously people take pride in their builds when they do this. And I think for me, at the discount, this was something that I've been wanting to get for a long time. So it feels good to finally get it. I love looking at this thing when it's all set up. The only downside that I have right now is this monitor that I have is so big, and I have my second monitor. It's actually blocking it, so I can't see all of it. So I'm hoping to go down to a smaller monitor here pretty soon. And as I do that, I'll be able to view this more. And that's another thing to consider too. Like, are you even putting your PC in a position where you're looking at it quite often, right? It's in your view, where maybe if it's underneath you, you're not going to see it that often. So custom is a little bit more expensive. Consider the other costs. You can pay, I think, a little bit extra also and have people proof this. With this, just the wording being slightly pushed over, I wish I knew that a little bit more so I could tuck it in a little bit more like I mentioned earlier. But other than that, I'm extremely happy with this product. So I'll have a link for this in the description. If there's any questions that you guys have with this as well, let me know in the comment section and I will answer that for you there. A lot to cover. I rambled there for a long time, so if you watched the whole video, thanks for sticking with it. But hopefully this was entertaining, or you found some value in me showcasing this product. Just in case you were wondering if you wanted to get it for yourself, definitely wait for that sale in my opinion. But that's going to be it for this video, everybody. If you like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all my content, hit the subscribe button for me. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.